Hey, Crawlspacers, welcome to our ASM review show. Let's introduce the panel. We've got a reviewer of ASM, Amazing Spider-Man, on the front page. We've got Dark Paul, evidently, in the house. So what's up, Dark Paul?
Not too much. How's it going?
I haven't seen you forever, man. What's going on?
Well, I've been busy lately. Getting new school, getting new classes all taken care of. But glad
are you
to
the
be
cool
back.
teacher? Are you the spider geek teacher? Are you the one the kids hang out with? Are you mean?
Oh, I'm not the one the kids hang out with. I'm too
That's
old
what
to
I
have
am too.
teenager friends. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
I do have something to add
Yes,
to a
sir.
podcast a couple of podcasts ago.
Yeah.
The 900 issue with the library book return.
Right.
They had a book in there, Dr. Faustus, and Peter said he couldn't remember checking that one out. And the reason for that is Dr. Faustus has a demon named Mephistopheles, which is where Mephisto is taken from. So they're making a joke back to the whole brand new day or one more,
got it.
whatever it was.
Well, we have someone on the line that isn't the biggest fan of you. Our other ASM reviewer, we've got Chi-Town. What's going on, sir? Meet Dark Paul up there.
Dark Paul. Just had to put it in there, Mark. Just there you go, Chi-Town. This is my punishment for being published in the letter sections like 9 times, and you haven't got there once, isn't it?
It's like the glory days. Yeah.
Oh,
I remember I made that winning touchdown back in '82.
Wow. I may have scored 10 touchdowns at one time.
All right, let's introduce someone else who's bright and cheery. We've got JR.
Smile on my face and a song in my heart.
Oh, man.
Since I heard Chi-Town was going to be on, I wanted to ask him what he thought of this new little nifty little thing I picked up the other day, the Cubs, Tigers 1908 World Series.
Cool.
Last time they won a World Series until just 6 years ago. So
it only took them 108 years just to win another title.
Yeah, well,
there you go.
Some things are worth the wait, I guess.
No.
Speaking of things that are worth the wait, I don't know, but she's bright and cheery, and she's the coolest spider punk I know. We've got Sarah. What's going on? Decked out in spider punk attire too. I love it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
You are. So is that like it's a denim jacket? And did you add the what are
the
those
spikes?
called?
The little studs. Yeah,
that's awesome.
It took me forever to add all those.
Oh man, I couldn't bejewel a phone. There's a quote I've never said on the show. Chat is with us. Sarah's mom is the first one here. It says, hi, Sarah's mom's in the house. Literary jokes in the ASM issues are always great, says Hornacek. Adam's in the house. Oh, Chi-Town, my hero from New York City is what Radiac says.
Oh, New York City
from Chicago, not from New York City.
I don't know.
I think what he's referring to is the panel where I spoke up and went against CB Cebulski.
Yeah.
That was at C2E2.
Adam says, well, at least JR isn't brandishing a Paul poster this time.
Yeah, thank God.
No, Paul's not in this month's crop of stories. Don't want to wear the joke out.
Hornacek who had 1 minute in? How soon the podcast until Chi-Town mentions he had a letter published? Cool. Oh, dang, they're hot tonight, boy.
That's why they come on the podcast.
We got Vinkman. I feel Chi-Town's pain. We have a super chat from Milo. What's up, man? Sorry I've been gone for so long. I was moving house, unlike JR, who lives in his mom's basement at 112 years old. So happy to be back. Wow, the internet's not nice today. I mean, JR rebuttal.
Well,
remember he gave $5, so don't be too
hey, how long is I don't have to pay any rent while I live here. You know what I mean? And besides, at my age, by the way, Sarah, how old you say your mom's going to be?
Her birthday it's going to be her 70th birthday.
Yeah, well, I'm close. I'm close enough. So, not quite 112, but closer to Sarah's mom's age than some people. So,
well, thank you for the super chat and the feel free to pay money to insult JR. We enjoy this policy here at the Crawlspace. Ira says, JR, I love the Odd Couple riff. It was funny as hell and too bad nobody got it.
but thank you, Ira. Thank you, Ira.
And Adam says it sounds like Milo just made JR's list. I think he was already on the list, wasn't he?
No, Milo wasn't. I mean, I was about to say age jokes are not new. I mean, if I put everybody on my list who made an age joke, it would be about as big as the Brothers Karamazov. So,
JR. Deep cuts. All right. Before we go on, I've got an email that I'd like to read on the air. That we got a nice email, and I will pop it up here. It says, first, hey, Brett and the Crawlspace crew, I want to please let me send you my thanks for your website, more specifically your podcast. I only have time to listen to 2 podcasts on a regular basis. One is the Rebel Force Radio Star Wars podcast. The other is most definitely yours. Thank you for them. They're all enjoyable, and I love listening to your opinions on the current run of Amazing, most of which I agree with. I just want to drop you a line and offer my opinion. First off, I have to be honest. I don't see the appeal of John Romita Jr.'s artwork. I thought that just was like, I don't see the appeal of JR.
Nobody does. It's only special people get it.
I didn't care for it in the 90s, and I still don't care for it. I have been a Spider-Man fan reading the comics for more than 50 years and been collecting off and on since the 70s. I even had a copy of Amazing Fantasy 15 until it was stolen from me. Ooh. I'm still chapped about that, so I try not to think about it. I guess the artwork from my time period, which would have been the 70s and the 80s, is the ones I enjoy the most. These new styles I just can't get into, and for me, that detracts from the story. Since dialogue is so dependent on artwork in a comic book, if it doesn't look good, then it's hard for me to keep up with it. But like I said, just my opinion. The other thing I wanted to mention concerns JR's comments. That comics are geared to our generation. They probably aren't, but I am not sure of that either. My evidence rests on the back page of Marvel Comics. They're always advertising Citizen watches. Have you checked the prices of these watches? That 60th anniversary Spider-Man one is over $274. If they aren't gearing the books to please older readers, then who is that advertisement for? Because we are all the only ones who can afford those things. Hey, just wanted to have a little fun and drop you a line, and I greatly appreciate the opportunity to let you know once again how much I enjoy your podcast. I will be retiring in about a week, so listening to podcasts on the way to and from work is coming to an end, but I will find a way to keep up. Just too damn much fun. Thank you again, Rocky. So thank you, Rocky. That is really nice.
Yeah, say hello to Adrian for us.
Oh, Chi-Town, what's up? That must be Ben.
My son Ben wanted to say goodnight, so say goodnight right there.
Good night.
See you, Ben. Sleep good,
night,
brother.
Ben.
Good night.
Wait a minute, Ben. Your middle name's not Riley, is it?
No, it's not.
No.
He's not that committed.
No. It's Uncle Ben and Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's his namesake.
Oh, that's cool. JR, thoughts on the letter? I agree. The watches on the back of those books, those are pretty expensive. They're gearing toward the older customer.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure what comment he's referring to, but then again, I say so many things I don't remember anymore. But yeah, that's the whoa. Someone said that I was younger than he was.
Yeah, Greg is a St. Louis friend. I've met Greg in person, actually. And I think you guys are about the same age, actually.
Well, I probably look younger, though, because,
no. I'm just kidding. You don't.
But anyway, back to what he said. Yeah, that is kind of a dichotomy. I mean, part of Marvel's disingenuousness. They don't like older readers, and they keep wanting to reach this new batch of readers. But all the collectibles these days are, pretty well far out of your average kid's allowance. So, but then again, Marvel being a pile of hypocrites is nothing. It's just Wednesday for them. So.
Josh Nelson says JR and I are hosting a sermon at the Church of Paul. Would anyone like to attend?
No.
We have Heidi. What's up, Heidi? How are you? Sarah is in Spider-Punk. Yes, Sarah is. Let's
Wow, do we
see.
actually have some estrogen in the chat today, don't we?
We do. Sarah
Wow.
brings it.
Really? She's got this
Speak-
she just like brings this fan base over
Yep.
from somewhere, you know?
You do.
It's
Speaking of
mostly my family and friends.
Speaking of estrogen, we're talking about Gwen Stacy off the top. Sarah's got this one. Take me through ASM. What is it? 904.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And explain who punched her in the face.
It does look like she got punched in the face. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but some of the art lately has been like that. Like I forget what issue it was, but Peter was beaten up pretty badly from Tombstone, and it was just all lumpy. And no.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
All right.
So written, Amazing Spider-Man number 10, written by Zeb Wells, art by Nick Dragata, and colors by Marcio Menez. The book opens with Peter listening to reports of a mass hysteria event, and of course, they're referring to Judgment Day. In Judgment Day, people are being judged in the next 24 hours as worthy or not by the Celestials. Peter's on the phone with Iron Man, and Peter asks if these events are even real. Iron Man confirms, and we see Gwen Stacy, but really a Celestial disguising itself as Gwen, standing in front of Peter, judging him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Later, Randy asks Peter to help him pick out a tux for the wedding, and worried about being judged poorly by Gwen, he reluctantly agrees, as he should keep his promises that he's made. Randy picks out a tux, and Peter contemplates what to do with the rest of his day, and Gwen appears again. Maybe it's a good idea to see if Aunt May's doing well. So at Aunt May's, Peter fixes a few things, and they discuss the Judgment Day events. We see Aunt May has Uncle Ben judging her, and it's a sweet moment as he holds her hand.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. I like that.
I loved that panel.
Yeah,
do you
me
happen
too.
to have it?
Yeah, I just had it up on the screen.
Okay, I wasn't.
It's right there. There it is.
Yeah, that I
Looks
almost
like he
cried
has
right
fall
there.
leaves coming out of his head. I don't.
Yeah, it does look like that. Peter makes his way to see J. Jonah Jameson, and he profusely apologizes for all those nasty, nasty things he's said over the years. So apparently, J. Jonah Jameson has heard about the 24 Hours of Judgment as well.
Mm-hmm.
He apologizes to about the Spider Slayers and for Scorpion and all of his wrongs against Spider-Man. We see Gwen again with this same like kind of emotionless expression, and Peter tells J. Jonah Jameson that he is a good person even if he goes about things in the wrong way sometimes, and he always tries to do what's right. Then Gwen smiles. We cut to Spider-Man and Gwen on a rooftop as Spider-Man is hoping that Ben will appear. Spider-Man tells Gwen that he knows that Ben is missing, but hopes that one day they will cross paths again and Peter can help him. Then Spider-Man sees Miles taking down Rocket Racer, and Peter tells Miles how proud he is of him and all that he's accomplished. Later, Peter goes to sleep as Gwen is watching. And I keep thinking of how Kane is always watching.
I know. I was just going to say a Kane joke.
Always
like, look at Peter's expression when people watch him sleeping. Can you go to sleep with someone just standing on over you? That's poor Pete.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
So then the next morning, Peter gets a call from work to come into Oscorp to perform a test that they are doing. Peter initially tries to back out, but with Gwen watching, he agrees to be there. Peter heads to work and they begin the testing. Norman arrives to see their work and is yelled at to leave by Peter as he sees Gwen's scared reaction to seeing Norman.
Yeah.
Peter runs
I
to
would
find...
too. He looks like a Telosian.
Yeah. Whoa, deep cut Star Trek reference with the giant cranium.
And with the eyebrow.
For our
That's
older
like
viewers,
eyebrow.
that you're referencing the cage, right? With Pike.
That's right. But it's
Okay,
not,
yeah.
It's not for our older viewers. Star Trek is timeless.
Okay. It is. Go ahead.
Just
Sarah.
like JR.
No, he's pretty old.
So Gwen runs away and Peter runs to find Gwen, and he explains how he's lived his life since Gwen died, why he's teamed up with Norman, and how Norman is trying to be a good man.
Look at
Peter
that panel.
has-
Wait a minute. Look at that panel. What is that? Looks like vermin more than Peter Parker. What is that? Woo! Okay.
And like the fact that he has the audacity to yell at Norman like that is a little interesting. Like, that's your boss, dude. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So Peter explains to Gwen, why he's teamed up with Norman and all that. And Peter then has been judged worthy and gets to spend a moment with the real Gwen. We cut to Norman, who has seen the whole thing, and we see a different evil looking Gwen, at least I thought she looked evil, standing behind him. To be continued.
Here, let me find that panel of Evil Gwen that you were talking about. Yeah, there's Evil Gwen. Yeah, with the red eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But I did, yeah. Oh, look at Norman. Look at that. What in the heck? Okay. So Sarah, what is your grade on this one?
My grade is an A.
Okay. All right. We got Mark. What's your grade?
C+.
All right. Peter.
C+.
JR.
A D.
C- out of me. Sarah, what's your pros? What'd you like about it?
I have a few things. One of the things I really liked was the scene with J. Jonah Jameson is hilarious. And I don't know if you can pull up the panel, but there's a panel of J. Jonah Jameson hugging Peter, and Peter like clearly does not want that like at all. It's like this awkward, it's like this awkward hug. And then you see this look of desperation.
Is it that?
No, it's before.
Before, okay.
Yeah.
There. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Look, he like does not. He's like, no, thank you.
Dad, don't.
That's kind of
that's
what
pretty
Mark
good.
does. That's what Dark Mark does to me when he's, sorry for all the mean things that he says to me on this.
The nasty things he said over the years.
I've never
Absolutely.
said anything. I challenge anybody to pull up anything bad I've ever said about my good buddy Peter.
Please do. It's all there.
I also really liked that scene because we haven't seen J. Jonah Jameson in a while, and like I miss him as a character. Like he's one of my favorites. Another thing that I liked is that we kind of get a clue to what's happened in these 6 months that we don't know about. And Peter says that I don't know if you can pull up the panel, but he says that he lost a loved one and did what he had to get them back. And
where does he say that? On the bridge, or where does he say that?
It's like right at the end when him and Gwen are talking.
Let's see.
But it's interesting.
Right around here?
Yeah, no, it's before this. It's when he's talking to the Celestial.
Like right there?
Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
He helped me, and no, it didn't work out the way I tried, but he tried. Oh,
yeah,
there.
It's right there. Mm-hmm.
I loved a while back. I wanted to do something I could to get her back. Not everyone agreed with my tactics. In fact, no one did. I couldn't find anyone. So I guess he's referencing Mary Jane. He lost her.
That's what I'm assuming. And
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Okay.
And I don't know if he's like, I lost her as in a sense as he lost the relationship because of something he had to do, or if she like died or something. I don't know. That's just speculation.
Okay. Any other pros that you liked?
Yeah, I mean, I could keep going, but we can give other people a chance too. Absolutely.
Who had a higher grade? I think it was Mark. Mark was a C, I think.
I had C+. Peter also.
What do you like about it?
Well, I like how this is a tie-in, which I don't particularly like tie-ins and crossovers, but I like how he's not a part of the main fight. He's not going to hang out with the Avengers. He's not being pulled out of his book. This is something that's affecting New York, and we get to see how it just ends up interrupting his life, and we just keep moving on forward and not having, as compared to the last issue where if you didn't know anything about, I didn't know anything about the Hellfire Gala, and I was lost the entire issue. But this one, I could follow it just fine. I heard from some of the commenters on the front page that it was not how the Avengers, Celestial Judgment kind of went along. But since I wasn't reading that, it didn't affect my.
It just kind of sucks two crossovers back to back, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's poor timing.
But I mean, back in the day, they didn't do that. I don't think. I mean, you had a Secret Wars 2 crossover. You had what? I don't know. I just don't. I think it sucks. It's a cash grab, I think. Yeah. JR pros. What did you like? Something about it?
Well, not really. The closest thing I came to a pro was the scene with Jonah, but that also was a con as well. I really did not like this issue at all for several reasons, which we'll get to. So, but no real pros.
Peter, pros out of you.
Well, the scene with Jonah was good. I like that, and we got a little bit more of a clue to what the mystery box is that we've all been waiting to hear, that we're not going to really find out the answer till next year. So we'll see. That's really all I got.
All right. Pros out of me. I like the Uncle Ben and Aunt May scene a lot. I did like evil Gwen behind Norman in that scene. I thought that was cool. Sarah, cons, what did you not like about it? Not much. It doesn't sound like.
Actually, is it okay if I say one more pro?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I really liked how Peter is definitely making himself responsible for Norman Osborn not turning into the Green Goblin again. I think that's definitely within character, but of course that's been happening for the last several issues. So I just really like that aspect. And I seriously I felt things in my notes. I have in caps. I felt things after reading this. Because that
all
Gwen
the emotions.
Scene, yeah, all the emotions. The Gwen scene just really got to me. And normally that kind of stuff doesn't, but because it's Gwen and as far as I know, they've never had a moment like that, so I really liked that about the book.
I kind of had flashbacks to the clone conspiracy with the fake Gwen or the clone Gwen couldn't move and she saw the last moments. I felt like this moment has kind of been done again and again.
Well, this moment here kind of undercuts that other moment because this is the real Gwen and she doesn't have any seeming memory of this event that happened with the clone conspiracy, and that was supposed to be her soul, wasn't it? Supposed to be the real Gwen there.
Yeah,
I've lost track. The girl died in the 70s. I mean, why do we keep going back to this?
I don't know, but I think one of the things is that when they was doing the flashback, didn't Gwen realize that Peter was Spider-Man and she was not happy with it? I think it was the Dan Slott book. That's why probably we don't remember.
I don't know. Cons, any other cons, Sarah?
Oh yeah. So this is a little nitpicky, but why does Gwen always show up in the clothes that she died in?
Yeah, I agree. Even in the movie when she dies, she shows up in that outfit.
I'm like, can we?
And what do they call that where you wear it on your head? The
headband. Yeah,
headband. Yeah, always got the headband. Always stuck in the 70s. We didn't mention the art. My God, the art's awful.
Yeah.
The art is horrible.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't want to belabor it, but that is one of my big things. But go to the first page where Randy shows up.
Okay. 1 sec.
Yeah, just the first panel where we see Randy.
I'm getting there. Keep talking and we'll.
No, I just you'll be able to get there pretty soon. I don't want to.
That one?
Yes, Peter's nose. I mean,
what? It's Bob Hope. That's not Peter Parker.
Wow. Is he lying or something?
Oh my God!
He's like Pinocchio.
Right?
I mean, I don't know. I guess editors don't exist anymore, but I get maybe it's like Jim Owsley / Christopher Priest was saying, if you actually ask an artist to change something, he interprets it as you hate him. Oh, can you tilt your camera down?
Oh,
okay.
Just read those notes privately. Good Lord, that's what's called a private chat.
Well, I didn't read the one that says you are a. What is that? Oh, anyway. No, I mean, look at that.
I could write
There's
it.
nothing private with JR.
Yeah.
There, you look much better. You're filling your frame. Very nice.
Oh my God. See, you made me pull it out now. It's like, I'm pregnant, it's like, oh my God.
Okay. Tilt the damn thing up. I don't care.
I was about to say, man.
Anyway.
But no, I mean, just the art is just dreadful. And it's like, why didn't somebody say at least take an inch off that nose or something, The
art is by Nick Dragata. And bravo for him for getting on the Amazing Spider-Man book. That must be a big deal for him. I just don't think he's ready for the flagship title. That does not, art is subjective, but the scene where Spider-Man looks like vermin, let me see if I can find it again.
Yeah,
some of his stuff isn't bad. The Gwen behind Norman isn't bad, but some of this stuff, there it is. That's not Peter Parker. I'm sorry. Come on. Any cons? Mark, what do you got?
I didn't like Peter being so whiny. I don't see.
He's talking about me, by the way.
True.
I don't. He's faced death. He's faced judgment from others before. I don't see him all of a sudden freaking out and being this whiny. I mean, I guess we could sit there and say that the fact that Gwen standing there has really shaken him up a bit, but he's seen Gwen lots of times. So I don't know. I just didn't buy that being an accurate portrayal of how he would react.
Yeah. The chat is blowing up about how they're not digging the art.
Thanks for the nightmares.
Thanks for the nightmares. Yeah, this is the legend. True. Other cons that we haven't hit up.
I feel actually, it's funny. I feel this was actually a missed opportunity because I hate crossover. I mean, I hate these crossovers, to be honest, but this one actually had some potential. But one, the Gwen trope has just been done way too many times. I mean, yes, Peter would feel guilty for the rest of his life about what happened to Gwen, but as a comic book story plot, it is so played out. Especially
for long timers like us four. And Sarah, do you feel it's been played out? I mean, you're a lot younger reader than we are. You think it's been played out?
Yeah, I think it has, but I enjoy the moments.
Yeah.
I mean, she wears that same damn outfit every time she shows up. I mean, it's been worn out. It's got to be worn out by now.
Would anybody be able to recognize her without that outfit? I don't know.
Probably. I mean, why not?
How could you forget her face?
It goes to the theory that Peter Parker wears different outfits, and we can all recognize it's Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Why could we not recognize that it's Gwen if we in the word balloon say, "Hey, Gwen"?
Well, if this is being plucked from Peter's mind, which I'm sure the Celestial or whatever is doing it, Peter will always remember her probably the way she last looked. But it does seem pretty lazy. And another, other cons, it's like, first of all, this was both Jonah and Norman both have so much to feel like they're being judged for, and the moments were wasted. Jonah actually asking Peter for forgiveness, and Peter forgiving him. That seems like it could have been done bigger and better somewhere else or some other time. It almost seemed like a potentially, for all the years that Jonah has treated not only Peter poorly but also Spider-Man, for this to be handled this way as kind of a throwaway joke. It just doesn't seem right. And second of all, I mean, even though Norman killed Gwen, I mean, Norman has killed a lot of people. Okay. Mm-hmm. But Gwen is not the person who would be showing up judging Norman.
Who would be?
Yeah.
Harry.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Harry.
Yeah.
It would have been Harry's, he won because he's lost Harry twice. The first time obviously, and then the Nick Spencer run. If there's any person whose life he just utterly destroyed, I mean, he threw Gwen off a bridge, but he slowly killed Harry for years.
Right.
It just he just took Harry's self-esteem, his dignity. He failed to be a good. I mean, and as a father myself, I mean, it's like the idea that you failed your kids.
Mm-hmm. That's a bigger sin.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, as a parent, I mean, what greater guilt could you have? Right. And so, not only was there a potential, I mean, if they're going to do a story about guilt and people trying to overcome guilt, it was a wasted opportunity. But then, particularly in the case of Norman, it's the wrong person. Right. So, this just was all very.
Didn't you want to see the story that of the evil Gwen behind Norman? I wanted to see that after I read it in here. Yeah. I'm like, well, that's the story I'd kind of like to read.
But you're not going to read it.
You're not. It's over. Yeah. The damn thing's over. We got a funny comment from our buddy Ryan Reed, another ASM reviewer on our front page at the Crawlspace. Ryan says, "We're watching you on the big screen at our Halloween party and screaming when you showed Peter that Peter was great. So scream again at your Halloween party. This is going to frighten you all right here. There you go. Trick or treat. Give me the candy now." There you go. That one's for you, Ryan.
So the Celestial, they judged Peter and he passed, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he got a thumbs up.
Whatever he did 6 months couldn't have been that bad. Yep. Which I think this is why we're going to we're not going to be that satisfied when that mystery is unsolved come next year.
We got Milo in the chat going, put Gwen in an Adidas jacket. And we've also got Mike in the house. What's up, Mike?
Hi.
Hello. Finally got here. Thank you. And by the
Better
way,
late than never.
I did. I basically heard your thing. The thing is, since I actually have read the whole crossover that this thing was based upon.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So sorry. I won't judge you for Judgment Day, but go ahead.
Yes.
Actually,
Yeah.
I am.
So the thing is, based on how the whole thumbs up and thumbs down thing works, it's essentially what it means. It's kind of like based on what it is mainly about. It's because the way it kind of works, it's almost like it's almost like judging them on the courage of the progenitors kind of judging people based on the courage of their convictions. I mean, if they're actually actively trying to try or something like this, basically, or they kind of stand by who they are, then he gives you kind of a thumbs up thing. But if they're kind of like, kind of like almost like kind of an ambivalent thing like this, it's like it gives him a thumbs down. Case in point, he gave Captain America a thumbs down.
I was just going to bring that up. Yeah.
Because he's basically saying, yeah, you just basically, your whole thing is you basically you try to inspire people and you basically fail. And you keep doing the same thing over and over again. So
that's the writer.
I know. Writer. Yeah.
If anybody's passing it, it's Cap. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, I know. And he also gave Doom a thumbs up because Doom's like,
to that I say,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, but in this whole issue, it's weird because I'm not sure if you guys talked about it yet, because the way Wells writes the progenitor, the way Peter interacting with the progenitor, he's treating him like this is a ghost of Gwen, which it's not. And he's also kind of this whole thing where like, I know you, Mark basically wrote about this. It's almost like Peter's like trying, I'm going to try to put on my best behavior to try to be nice around this guy. Well, but it's like, there's no reason to kind of thing. It's almost like, it's kind of like, that whole thing where like, I got a bit like almost it's kind of like he's trying to basically like, maybe if I try to play good, then I'll get a better passing grade sort of thing.
Speaking
and
of
I don't
grade,
know if that's
what's
really
your grade
Peter.
on it, Mike.
I'm giving this a C- actually.
Yeah.
I think it's just
same.
I mean, I get what there's going. I mean, it's kind of tied into, and I get what I kind of think it's while it's appropriate with it, he's basically it's taking the form of Gwen and everything like this, and who he's interacting with. Does seem to be things that are kind of missing out of this, like based on like because Peter keeps going like, I got to stop by to all these other folks, and it's just like, well, there's a few folks he's missing. Let's just put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that stuff was kind of forced, or was definitely forced. Him like seeing Miles and telling him that he's proud of him, or going to see Aunt May or J. Jonah Jameson. It was all forced. I would like to see more moments like that in the book, though. Not the forced kind, but like genuine.
Yep.
Right.
Check in with his family.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other thoughts on this one before we move on? All right.
It just occurred to me this is the first time we've seen Jonas since the whole relaunch, isn't it?
Yep.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's just like, okay.
Time to talk hobgoblins. Mark, take me through this. The Return of the Hobgoblin story. ASM 9065. Sorry.
I need to get prepared for this one.
Ooh, who's opening a beer? What was that? Oh, a Coke. Okay.
It's a Coke. This is
a Coke.
Go, Mark.
Go, Mark. You're muted, Mark. Mark, you're muted.
Wow, Mark.
Hey, Mark,
okay.
You're muted.
You're muted. You can't talk, Mark.
Here, let me.
What was
the
that?
Button.
Can I unmute him?
We can't hear you.
Yes, you can, Brad.
Mark.
You have the power.
I don't. He's
So while
thought you
Mark
did.
is muted.
Chi-Town, you're up. Review the damn book.
All right. So while Mark tries to adjust, basically two hobgoblins show up, and next thing you know,
hell, he's gone
it turns
now.
out to be Paul. Paul is the new one.
He's gone. Wait a minute.
JR's
kill
gone. He's
JR?
like,
Wow. This thing's going
I
south.
say Paul's name, and then they both magically disappear.
Okay. Mark, you here? There you are.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
but we killed JR. JR left too.
Wow. Dude, some professionalism would be nice.
Oh, there you are. Welcome back, JR.
Mhm.
The whole thing just,
I know.
maybe Mark had put a curse on it or something, because he
I
was.
said the word Paul, and you guys disappeared.
And then watch everyone.
Oh,
Oh, you just said it
oh.
again.
You
I
know,
don't know what happened because my mute thing was not on mute, so I don't know
weird.
what happened there.
Ultimate Spider Plush
I had
blames
nothing to
Chi-Town
do with
for drinking a Coke.
Yeah.
He says, "Don't do Coke."
I had nothing to do with it.
Hey, Plush.
Maybe.
Yep. All right, take me through that 905, please.
Okay. All right. So thanks to Dan Slott, we know that Peter and Betty have a
That's how you
time-honored
start it.
tradition of hanging out, watching movies, like every Friday night or something. But apparently, Peter has fallen off of that in the last 6 months or so and has not picked it back up since coming back because he has no clue that Betty gave birth to a baby until after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And so we see that despite him being a science genius, he has not mastered exactly the age appropriateness of certain science chemistry kits. But when he's off of that, Betty goes and hears a noise in the baby's room, little baby Winston, and she runs in to see the hobgoblin holding the baby with not at all proper neck support and promising
You're not
no,
wrong.
his
Goblins
elbow
aren't
is
known
way
to be
down. That
nurturers.
baby's head's just sitting up there like that. But he promises not to let them hurt him. But we don't know who them is at the moment. Betty is so stunned that she can only utter one vowel in a prolonged scream.
One.
Wait, who was that? You, Brad?
That was me. Yes. I eat.
Bravo.
I'm gonna take that soundbite.
Yeah. Feel free.
Later at Oscorp,
Be sure you
Norman-
E before you. Yeah. Anyway.
Wow.
E all the way home. Okay.
Mark is annoyed.
No, not annoyed.
Pretty soon he's going to look like that panel of Peter if he keep these jokes up.
All right.
Oh yeah, here we go. Hornacek says she saw a mouse. That equaled the E. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, later at Oscorp, Norman is not at all happy with Kamala and Peter for not having finished working on that engine that they're supposed to be building, that he's paying them quite a lot of money to work on. But they are saved because somebody else comes in and pisses off Norman even more. But we're not quite sure what it's about. It's something legal, and he rushes off. And Peter sees this moment not to actually work on the engine with Kamala, but instead to completely drop his responsibilities for a little love romance.
I'm surprised you didn't do Black Cat by Janet Jackson. I think that one would have worked too.
No, that song is perfect.
I love it. We have sound effects. JR, he's bringing the funny.
Okay. Did you ask him to, though?
No, he just brought it.
So in an effort to move on from the woman who has clearly moved on from him, and since Deb Whitman is nowhere to be found, Peter braves the windy rooftop and braves the whipping hair to ask Black Cat out on a date.
Hey, girl.
Now, Chi-Town and I have talked about this extensively, and I know he agrees
We
with
have
me.
not.
This scene is remarkably staged and certainly will go down as one of the greatest romance scene of all comic book history. Zeb Wells
excuse me. Sorry.
Zeb Wells pays homage to the Stan Lee, Steve Ditko era by having Peter react as a high school freshman for asking a girl out for the first time with shaky knees and nauseous feelings.
To a
This scene is
maybe.
going to be, I'm sure, on everybody's pro list when Brad goes through the pro cons. So I hate that I took it away from you guys by pointing it out like that. But anybody who read Chi-Town's review of this issue knows that he just goes on and on and on, gushing over how well done this was.
Oh wow. More lies have come to the podcast.
Oh man.
Now, to make sure we understand what's happening, Peter once again reinforces that he can now finally start to move on. And I know we were all glad for that to happen. We're sick of this whole Mary Jane and her little children stuff going on. So,
Yeah.
moving on here. Now, when he returns home, he finds that the debt collector is nowhere in sight. And I know that Hornacek loves the debt collector, but he's going to have to wait until amazing number 14 to find out what happened to him.
By the way, the debt collector is a real life villain. I mean, in our universe. I mean, and that just sounds like a villain's name in the Marvel U, doesn't it? The debt collector.
But if you were waiting for a creepy person like the debt collector to be waiting for Peter when he comes home, you don't have to worry, because there is yet another creepy person waiting for Peter. Ned Leeds.
Yeah.
Why Ned Leeds just sitting in the dark? I don't know. That just seems a bit overkill. But Ned is only slightly judgmental of Peter working for Osborn because he can now use this to his advantage.
Yeah.
He wants Peter to betray JR's former hero by showing him photos of Osborn and Kingsley together.
Yeah.
Now, what are they doing together? You can't tell from that photo there. Maybe they're plotting Machiavellian deeds. Maybe they're going on a date. Maybe they're looking for places to open a bakery. I don't know. And Peter doesn't know. So he says no to Ned's proposal.
Yeah.
And in a rare instance of comic book common sense, Peter, instead of rushing off and just attacking Norman, actually asked him, hey, what's going on with this? And Norman tells him that in an effort to be a good person, he's handing over all of Kingsley's business holdings that he originally stole completely legally back when he was sinful Norman. Now, Peter wants to go with Norman because, dealing with Kingsley is going to be dangerous. And so Norman tells him, okay, it's going to be Thursday night. You can be there. And just to make sure we know that he is telling the truth and really wants Peter's help, he says it one more time. Don't forget Thursday night.
Yeah.
But on Wednesday night, the two goblins meet on the docks. Things are actually going pretty well until once again we hear Betty screaming.
Where's the E?
But it's not Betty screaming. It's the Hobgoblin. Unless Betty is the Hobgoblin. No, let's get it next way. And he blows up the meeting and follows it up with his new catchphrase, Madness Rise, the Night Wind.
Just pause for a second. Look at that panel. That's some art. Look at that. I love that. That's classic Hobby. I love that. Love it.
That's much better art than the last issue.
Yeah, when I saw the art from that last one, I went, E.
Yeah. After the last issue, JR's art is looking a lot better. Right?
Yeah.
But if that wasn't enough to put you in full terror, we get to see somebody has drugged up Betty and is talking to baby Winston. But who could it be?
Probably the person on the cover, on the front cover. Just wild guess.
That's I don't mean to insult the baby, but that's an ugly looking baby. And why do they have fuzzy dice from in a car above the baby?
I didn't even notice.
Look at the
fuzzy
dice.
They're feeling lucky.
You feeling lucky, Winston?
Hey, maybe it's lucky. Maybe this guy's Lucky Donovan. And he put the dice there.
Is there an air freshener behind it?
I
They're
don't know.
just rolling the dice on this parenthood.
Who puts fuzzy dice in a crib? You can't afford a mobile? Is it mobile? Is that what they call it?
The
Nope.
kid
Yeah.
looks like
Well,
a
Horner said
potato.
he doesn't have a job right now.
JR says the baby looks like a potato. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark, that was the end of the issue. What is your grade, sir?
I think I'd give this I'll say a B+.
All right, JR, it has goblins in it.
I know. Actually, I was gonna give it a B originally, but then when we went over the Peter Felicia scene again, I said nah, and I dropped it to a C.
Oh, okay. Mike.
Yeah, I think the first half is not that great. Back half is better. Averages out probably about maybe about a C for me. As
Sarah?
well.
I gave it a B plus.
Okay, Chi-Town.
D+.
Ooh. Before I give my
Was that the
grade,
story or was that the narrator you're giving the D plus to?
Both.
Vinkman, this does not look like me. Vinkman, what in the world?
Vinkman, if Brad had a list, you just got yourself on it.
Well, hold on. I don't have a big list. Let me get a post-it.
Wow.
I thought insults were
Aikman is
supposed
our
to be
hero
cats.
for tonight.
Oh, Vinkman. Okay.
So, Brad, can
I'm-
we just call you Winston from now on?
No, you cannot. And I'm not a potato either, JR. I'm giving this the highest grade of everybody. I'm giving this an A minus. I loved
Oh,
it.
there you go. Okay.
Loved it.
Okay.
Absolutely loved it. I want to hear Mark's pros.
I don't.
Well, but you're bringing in the Hobgoblin.
Yes.
I like the Hobgoblin.
I love the Hobgoblin. And as drawn by his co-creator, John Romita Jr.
Yeah,
Love
Oh,
it.
that's right.
Yeah.
things are moving in this issue. The whole mystery box thing doesn't really have much to do with this, and so we can just actually have a story and run with it. And I like the Tombstone story, and I like the Vulture story. So I'm
Me
hoping
too.
to see the same kind of treatment with the Hobgoblin.
Yep.
Mhm.
Mike, some pros?
Actually, like I said, I do like the idea that we're actually kind of like, like the Ned's basically incorporation. The thing is, he's coming in and giving like a kind of a weird angle thing like this, like he's like kind of like, oh, he's kind of showing like kind of the sort of a little bit of the consequence of a little bit of like Peter working with Norman and how they like, oh, like how that hold that sit up, and so it kind of like puts Peter in that weird awkward position, like, oh, how much can I actually trust Norman if he's talking to Kinsley, and also that whole and also that whole interaction between Norman and Kinsley too, and everything like this. I mean, it definitely kind of brings back a little bit of that kind of that sort of that original Hobgoblin mystery kind of flavor to it, especially when Hobgoblin, whoever he quote is, well, we know who he is at next issue, but also bonus points because I think he was quoting what was it? HP. I think he was quoting HP Lovecraft there at the
Yes.
end a little bit.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So it's just like, it's like, oh, okay. Kind of it will make sense later on for in terms of his identity. But yeah, I do kind of like the idea, like where like the idea, like especially like the idea of like Ned basically thinking like, oh, now that he's quoted back, like having that kind of that paranoia kind of coming in thing, and you're not really sure who to trust kind of thing. I think that's kind of set up a little bit. I like that. It's kind of set up a little bit nice for things to come. So
We've got another super chat from Milo. He's got a soccer game in the morning. I'll see you later. Thanks for your amazing reviews. I'm so happy to be back watching live, and have a good night. Milo, thank you very much, sir. Enjoy the soccer game. I appreciate your support of Crawlspace. Adam says Phil is worm food. Goblin is probably Phil.
oh, you'll see in a minute.
Yeah. And Greg says he's got to go. I'll watch the rest of the show later.
Okay.
Refresh my Goblin history, JR. Have these two ever met face to face like this?
Oh,
Kingsley and
absolutely.
Norman. When
Goblins
was
at
it?
the gate.
Okay, so in the 90s. That was the
Yeah, I
last time
remember
they-
Goblins at the gate. Yeah.
Well, refresh me what that story was.
Well, that was when Norman had a fake goblin going around, which was originally supposed to be Phil Urich, but
Okay.
then it got
Is that
changed.
Goblin 5?
Got changed by John Byrne and Howard Mackey to just Goblin Goo or whatever. That was where Kingsley threatened to expose Osborn. So Osborn busted him out of jail, or actually, Osborn's Goblin doppelganger busted him out of jail. And actually that's the story when Osborn stole Kingsley found out that Osborn had stolen his corporation from under him.
But it's been 25 plus years, I think.
Well,
since these
but
two-
it's just yesterday to us, Brad.
In the
Us
Marvel
old
universe.
fans,
Yeah.
I mean, we remember. So yes, Kingsley and Osborn have met before.
And it felt good, JR, to see Norman buying out Kingsley's business. That's something Norman would do. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That was a big pro for me. Pros, JR, out of you?
Well, I mean, it's good to see. well, it's good to see Kingsley back, and as we see next issue, true to form. Also, to be honest, there were some things about the art I didn't like, but I really liked the Hobgoblin, the way it was.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. It just really seemed like, in the color too, it just seemed like it was really rich. I mean, just a really stunning look.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Just really, the glowing red eyes and everything. I mean, he's derivative of the Green Goblin, but he's his own thing. And this really makes him, this is a really good rendition of the Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
And so I like that.
And Romita Jr. hasn't drawn him. He drew a version of him in the 90s during the Clone Saga, or maybe after the Clone Saga, but not the classic that he drew in the 80s that he co-created. So we haven't seen him do this in 30 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big pro out of me, because the Hobgoblin is my goblin. I wasn't enjoying it in the 70s or before. He died before I was born the first time. So Kingsley is my goblin. Pros, Chi-Town, what'd you like, man?
Well, Hobgoblin, of course, and give it up for Zeb Wells. The villains are really the really cool thing about this series run so far.
Yep.
I mean, Tombstone's just bad, and then you got Vulture coming. I mean, I never seen Vulture be that fierce before, and now here comes Hobgoblin. So it's really cool. And then of course there's Paul. And the Debt Collector, and the villains are really, really something to look forward to.
Yeah, I agree. Sarah, what'd you like about it? What's your pros?
This is probably an unpopular opinion, but I really enjoyed the scene with Peter and Felicia.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, I thought it was cute that he was nervous to ask her out, even though they've known each other for like so many years. But if something is not going to happen in his love life, like, I'm just sick of him being like, how do I say it? Like, he's like being put down and put down and put down and put down. I'd like something to go right for once. And if it's not going to be MJ, I'd like it to be Felicia and not some random whoever, so.
I'm with you. I liked him asking her out. I thought that was cute also. I don't know if he'd kneel over and almost pass out,
and nearly throw up or something.
But him being nervous to
have
ask
a
her out,
panic attack.
We haven't gone out since about 86. Or what was it, 84? I forget when the last time.
Actually, it was technically, you could argue it was even earlier than that. Because I mean, if you remember the whole recent Brand New Day thing with their whole we're going to do their whole
we're going to break into the hotel rooms
thing. Yeah,
that was a hookup. That wasn't a date.
True, but
yeah. Anyway, I like that part too. Mike, pros.
Oh, I already mentioned the pros.
Oh, have I gone around for everybody for pros?
Yes, you have.
Okay. So who? Mark, your cons. What did you not like?
Well, I really liked almost everything in this book. I did like the whole rooftop scene with Felicia. I like the hair blowing in his face because she was trying to get around that, and I really like knowing that while I was reading it, Chi-Town was a couple of states away, having a meltdown, and that really raised the whole enjoyment level of this book for me.
My misery will raise any kind of grade Mark has. If it's an F book and he sees me freaking out about it, it goes straight to A+ for Mark.
Let's just put these two together. JR, you're not going to be able to
don't put me together with him. No. Put me up with Sarah. Mike, take my place.
No. You two stay down. You guys are in the back seat here. You two are in timeout.
But I do have to say that the whole I'm weak at the knees and I'm feeling nauseous and I'm not going to be able to web home. I thought that kind of really killed the whole scene. I thought it was going very well. Even without the Chi-Town element, I thought the scene was going very well until that, and then that's the only real con I have for it.
Yeah.
Hornacek says so. Brainwashed Ned, drugged Betty, and left her home alone asleep with their son. Good thing Winston didn't need anything.
I don't think he's the one.
Here's the thing. I would argue there that it's not actually Ned that did that.
Yeah,
hint. The person who did it is probably on the cover holding the mask.
Right. What's her name? The red goblin. What's her name?
Queen
Goblin.
Green
Green Goblin, yes.
That was one of the thing I was going to say. It was a slight con there that they kind of gave a little. They probably gave whatever did the cover. They kind of gave away probably what's going to be like the big reveal, like not the next coming issue we're going to be reviewing, but the issue after that. And the other thing too is kind of leap on. I'm going to be go into Chi-Town's corner here, and basically says I kind of thought that the whole thing with Peter and asking Blackout was kind of lame. I mean, the thing is, in hindsight, you can kind of see that that Wells was kind of trying to, I'm going to try to put these two back together again. Mm-hmm. If you even go back to Beyond, he's kind of like was planting those seeds. And so a lot of what was happening here in that scene, I mean, don't get me wrong, by itself, it would be fine. But again, since we don't really know the context of how, why he and MJ aren't together anymore and why he's trying to move on, it seems a little bit forced, especially when you figure, Dark Web's coming up. We're going to have another, Black Cat Mary Jane series. And you know that this is going to be the thing that is going to be like, is Peter, Peter's now going out with Black Cat and she's teaming up with MJ. It's like, awkwardness and all that stuff. I think it's a little bit artificial. The other thing too, I was kind of slightly put off by the whole business with Peter with Kamala there with the, I'm not taking the heat for whatever it's happening here with that whole engine thing with Norman there. I mean, it just seems like, would Peter really do that? Would he really try to pass the buck on that scene, or really try to it's not really my fault that this whole, I mean, it's.
Well, yeah, he's already passed the celestial judgment. He doesn't need the anymore.
Probably so. Yeah. I mean, it's but yeah, I think it's just the beginning part of it. And the other thing too, is I just find it funny that Betty Brant's already delivered the baby. And when we consider what happened in 900, she was still visibly pregnant and everything like this. It was just yeah, good old continuity.
Time is funky in the Marvel universe.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. It was just
okay. JR, cons out of you.
Well, I'm going to go back to the Peter Felicia scene for various reasons. So one again, this is another moment that wasn't earned, because we don't know exactly what happened between him and Mary Jane. And we don't know necessarily that him and Mary Jane are through, because we don't know we don't know what's going on. The thing with him being weak in the knees and stuff. Now that would, again, that's an unearned moment. That would make sense. For example, if you've been out of the game for a long time, even if it is with somebody who you had a relationship with, but if you've been out of the game for a long time, it's going to be weird as hell, whether, you're a widower or widow or whatever. But but again, it's not an earned moment. So that's just why it felt so wrong. I don't mind, because the last panel where Felicia says, really, I like that though, because Felicia does love him. I mean, and for her guard drops with him. He's the one person that she doesn't have to be the tough girl around. And it just, when he asks her out, it just kind of drops. And she's almost the giddy schoolgirl again, because, for her, for all of her other miscues and misses in life and other, like I said, trying to, and being, of course, the crime kingpin there under Dan Slott for a while. But no, it's a shame. It could have been a really nice, sweet moment, but it's not an earned moment. Again, Peter's relationship with Norman, and the whole relationship thing with Mary Jane. None of this is earned, because we're playing the stupid ass, mystery box again. Right. So you just feel like, boy, I really should like this. I want to like this, but I can't.
Yeah. Maybe instead of just being weak in the knees, Peter should just go out with me now. Please, girl. Please. I said now. All right. Sorry.
Here's a weird thing. Also, the thing, it just reminded me of that scene, that the whole thing with the hair business, all it's blowing in Peter's face or anything like this. I was like, is that supposed to be I don't know if that was supposed to be what's feeling funny. Is it supposed to be some weird kind of foreshadowing? Black Cat is still bad luck or something. I don't know, but that didn't quite get what the emphasis on with the whole like the wind blowing Felicia's hair in Peter in Spidey's face all the time.
I thought it was cute.
Yeah, but I don't know. It could be. I mean, maybe I was reading too much.
They're up on top of rooftops all the time. I mean, that's never been
Sure.
seen before, so I dig it.
I think it was just an artistic choice. I mean,
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah, but they kind of call attention to it. That's what I mean. It just seems like okay.
Yeah.
But, well,
Any other cons before we move on to the last one we've got tonight?
I have cons.
What we got?
All right. So basically, I don't want to repeat everything that everyone just said, but Mark did point out that Spider-Man's all about responsibility. So he's going to leave work early to go get a little booty. I mean, and let's look at Felicia. I mean, she gave him a maybe. I mean, obviously it might happen, but she knows full well that.
Excuse me, that was a probably. She gave him a probably.
Maybe and then a probably are kind of like the same thing, but hate to tell you, but stop. And then
I don't know.
Look at Black Cat's life. You think Spider-Man's going to approve of that? You think Peter's going to approve of that? She knows that. She's well aware of that.
She's hot.
God damn.
I mean, come on.
Well, here's the he left her at 4. He left Kamala at 4:00, but he doesn't meet up with Black Cat until late at night. So, like, why?
What are you, his manager? What are you, an Oscorp HR? What are you? You need to work your whole shift, Peter, before you go get the cat booty.
Brad, Winston, I am displeased with this issue. So Mark is taking great credit and great pleasure with it.
All right. On that note, from Oscorp HR, we JR, you ready for the next one?
I'm ready.
All right. Here we go. We got a good looking cover on the front. ASM 906, right? Look at that. That's pretty. Wells and Ramita Jr. again. JR, take me through it.
All right. The story opens at the Oscorp warehouse in Red Hook. Police and ambulance are on the scene of a brutal attack by the Hobgoblin, as we saw last issue. The police come across the bloodied form of our former hero, who was our hero, but is no longer our hero because he was replaced by Paul, Norman Osborn, who's warning them about the other guy, the dangerous Roderick Kingsley, who bursts from the rubble and escapes with his henchmen while Norman is loaded into the ambulance with multiple burns and lacerations. The orderly tries to treat Norman with morphine, but he says, "No need. I've got power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the goblin."
Is this ASM the musical?
That's a riff of there.
Of Turn Off the Dark.
I spent many years as a fundamentalist Baptist, and there was a song called "The Power of the Blood." There was power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God. Anyway, so there's power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the goblin. All right, they give it to him anyway because it's protocol. And Norman, of course, always follows the rules and doesn't want to get anybody in trouble. So he tells them to wake me up after you go to the hospital. Don't leave me here laying like a bozo. Wake me up.
Mark literally walked out of the theater.
JR's bringing the wham.
JR, turn off the dark, says Adam. Please. Goblin is going to hell, and I like the Spider-Man radio show we're presenting, says Plushy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how this is going over at the Halloween party where it's all on the big screen,
I don't know.
Very good.
Just keep singing.
Here, hold on. Let me scare him again. All right, there you go.
Now you're scaring me. Good God. Oh, my. Don't do that to me again. Oh, jeez.
No problem.
Oh, God. it's like I begin to feel like a vampire who can't stand his own reflect, who can't, stand the look in the mirror or whatever.
Hornacek says there's going to be a soundtrack to this podcast episode, evidently.
So
JR uncut.
Anyway, Peter goes to visit Norman in the hospital, and he says, "Wow, this brings back memories of Amazing Spider-Man number 40, when I dragged you to the hospital after frying your ass. Boy, you look like shit. Although, admittedly, not as bad as you looked 2 issues ago."
I'm invoking the George. You're making crap up. Yeah.
And then Norman says, "Speak for yourself. You didn't look so hot in that 2 issues ago, particularly in that panel where you yelled at me." And so Peter goes, "Fair enough, but how come you let Kingsley beat the crap out of you? You don't want me to have to put a skirt on you now, do you?" And Norman goes, it wasn't Kingsley.
For the deep cuts, Kingsley is a fashion designer who wears an ascot. Yes. Okay, got it. Got the joke. I'm explaining your jokes now, JR. Go ahead.
Well, actually, this wasn't actually that kind of joke. It was just that Norman let him get beat up or whatever. So, like, are you a girl? So no, there was no sexual connotations or whatever. It's like put a skirt on him. Whatever.
Sarah, should you insult him or should I?
Anyway.
JR, Brad,
you got this.
Sent you up.
I got this. Okay.
Excuse.
Here. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time. We've got JR jump scare. 3, 2. There you go. There you go. That's for the insulting the half of the population with the skirt joke.
All right. Well, anyway, so Norman says it wasn't Kingsley. It was another hobgoblin. But no, Peter, I am now a man of peace. Just like Worf in that stupid ass Picard season 3 trailer.
We're all dead. Yeah.
I forswore violence because I don't want to be putting on that green and purple outfit again. Because I didn't realize how it made me look fat. Well, Peter still does not trust Norman.
Ooh.
And he makes that abundantly clear as he decides that with a second hobgoblin running around, it's time to pay a visit to the comeback from the dead. And this time he isn't a clone, that idiot Ben 28, who's now Chasm, another lame-ass spider knockoff, grew in a test tube, Ned Leeds. Nor is he that little fat MFer from the last 3 Spider-Man movies. I remember, it's like I go into the toy store, I go into Target or whatever, and I see a Tom Holland Peter and Ned Leeds. And so I text Spencer and I said, I can't believe this. Still no Green Goblin from the movie, but, we have yet another toy of this ass hat. Why? Honest to God, why? Anyway. So, look, it's a Wakanda Forever T-shirt ad.
Wakanda. I can't wait to see it.
Part of me, thinks, oh, okay, yeah, there's a movie coming out. Maybe I should go see it. But then I was reminded of a certain TikToker who
what the hell?
Wait, what? JR goes on TikTok.
Everybody. Remember, here we go. White people shouldn't see the new Black Panther movie.
What?
You don't remember that? You don't know this?
What in the world, JR?
You haven't seen this.
What part of TikTok are you on?
You are
exactly
on the right-wing TikTok. What are you doing?
I am a man of culture. I am a man of expanded horizon. I surf the web of all social media.
Oh, God.
JR has a TikTok account. Please say yes.
No, he doesn't actually. It's been a fairly well-known story, actually. A social media influencer with hundreds of thousands of followers has a message for white people. Don't go see Black Panther Wakanda Forever on opening weekend. Instead, white people should purchase tickets. White people should purchase tickets to the new movie and give them to black families. And then they should sit around the theater and guard it so people can watch it in peace. I am not made. No, this is not shit that's made up. This is not made up. Look it up yourself.
Why is this in the middle of my Spider-Man review? What are you doing?
All about the ad that was in
because there was an ad for Wakanda Forever.
Go to Betty talking to Pete. Come on. Lord
God,
have
Brad,
mercy.
you know,
you just did a 10-minute bit on TikTok and white people and what? God.
I am, you know what,
Yikes.
boys and girls, those of you, I am bringing you enlightenment, you know, and you will thank me later. Now look it up. Google it
Wait a
up
sec,
yourself,
he is
people.
not
We're thanking
providing
you now,
context.
dude.
And Steve says, we do
All right.
not want a JR TikTok dance challenge.
Yes, we
Please.
do. Yes,
Yes,
we
we
do.
I
Yes, we
swear,
do.
Mark and I will ban ASM reviews just to review that. We will review Dark Mark's TikTok dance
Even
challenge.
Legend is like Wakanda. This is a Spider-Man show. What do you?
It was an ad. It was an ad. But anyway, so Peter, let's go back to this boring story, okay?
Yes, please do.
Peter goes to see Betty. Hey, Betty, want to hang out and see a movie? You know, and even though I was in a committed relationship and you were a grieving widow, we still went to whatever. Anyway, so Betty goes, "Oh, Peter, you know, Ned's not here because he's out working on this story, this whole Kingsley Osborne story. But he's getting more paranoid. He says that Norman is watching us just like Cain used to watch you." And he's you know, and now he wants the baby because of the goblin formula in his blood, and also he's wearing it again.
He's wearing it.
You know, well, I guess we're not talking about a thong, are we, Betty?
Oh
okay,
my God.
so I need you to tell me exactly where
Jesus,
he
poor
is.
Sarah, I'm so sorry.
I did not need that image.
I just had. I had the MCU Ned in a thong in my brain. Suddenly.
God.
My God,
Brad,
JR, you're
worse.
evil. He's the
So-
man in the chair wearing a thong, is what
So
he is.
anyway, next panel is Spider-Man on a glider.
Okay, hold on. Let me full screen you. There you go.
Yeah, Spider-Man on a glider. Okay, so and then he goes to you know, and then he goes to an abandoned building and he sees Ned, and Ned says, "Oh, Spider-Man, it's good to see you again." You know, and oh, you know, Norman wants my baby, and how do I know that? How do I know that? Because I've been wearing that crazy little metal hat again, and you know, Spider-Man sees the head
What is that
contraption.
thing called? Yeah.
Well,
The
hang
Winkler
on,
device.
hang on. We're about to remind you, Brad.
Okay.
All right. So Peter goes, holy 1960s plot devices. It's the Winkler device, which was first used on Captain George Stacy back in the late Amazing Spider-Man number 50's first volume. All right.
Yeah.
And then used on you by Roderick Kingsley when he wanted everybody to think you were the Hobgoblin. And now it's making you think you're the Hobgoblin again. And Ned goes, but if I'm the Hobgoblin, then who's he? All right. Who's he? All right, there's a Hobgoblin. And then the Hobgoblin, you know, there's Spider-Man, okay? And the Hobgoblin goes, you know.
For our audio listeners, JR is doing a robot chicken impression of Spider-Man and the
He's got
Hobgoblin.
2 action figures on gliders just buzzing around his webcam.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, and then he says, well, you know, Ned is my pet, you know. And so then there, of course, this particular goblin is really offended at, you know, Spider-Man being on a glider himself. You know, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Why are you on that glider? You know, because it's a proprietary device, you know, and so anyway, so. Anyway, so you know, they fight or whatever, and then Norman's like, you know, laying in the hospital, and his assistant, you know, brings him his laptop, so he starts working on it, you know, and you know, he starts looking at that new variation of the spider suit, which we all know is going to be.
Let's take a look at some of these pictures of look at this art. This
Yeah,
art,
it's pretty
man.
good.
Look at this.
Yeah.
So
That's
awesome.
really good art.
Yeah, in
So
fact, let's
awesome.
see it
Whoa,
in 3D.
I'm sorry.
So anyway, Dr. Tongue, a 3D effect.
Look, Dark Mark is bowing to the webcam next to him.
Okay. So anyway, so Norman logs in and watches the fight, you know, and the Hobgoblin.
Pay-per-view.
Yeah, and then you know, well, Spider-Man's making pretty, you know, taking the Hobgoblin down pretty handily, which he should, you know, breaks his nose once and then breaks it again. That was kind of fun, you know. And he takes his mask off and he's surprised.
Real quick, JR, I've got this picture. Can you imagine a real life Norman watching you on the stream right now? Can you imagine? Like he's on his webcam, just tip, 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 tip. Who's this weird guy? All right, I interrupted. It did not work. Go ahead. Go back to your toys.
All right. Well,
Jeez.
and then Spider-Man's my spider senses tingling or whatever, and then there's an onomatopoeia crack.
Help him out, Mark.
And
I got the crack. I got the crack. Hold on. Oh, that sounds bad. Hold on. Where's my crack?
Wow.
Where's my crack? Where's the crack?
I don't want to see it.
Don't say it
I don't want to see it.
There's my crack. I have crack. That's a crunch.
Crunch. Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
Well, there's no U though, so it's crunch.
Crunch. Like a broken nose.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
Okay.
like for example, Spider-Man, he's doing this and he goes whack crunch. So anyway. So.
I really think that should be a Patreon exclusive show.
Yeah, JR plays with toys. Please pay $10. $20, he'll not do it.
Okay, but anyway, I tell you. Anyway, so Spider-Man then now, the last page, which is actually a cool cliffhanger. I mean, this is really good.
Mhm.
This is a really cool cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Facing not only one hobgoblin, but two. Because Kingsley
Boom.
is saying that, you should have looked closer at Ned because I put him under the Winkler device again. And now you thought one goblin was bad. Ned Leeds makes two. And I can't have two hobgoblins because I didn't take the new one out of the box yet. The new one that just came out with this latest line is still mint in box, so I couldn't take him out. But this one is an older one, so I could take him out of the box.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Any other toys that you want to play with for this review? Good. Need to bring out a lizard or Venom or
not with an easy reach, unfortunately.
Okay. So you love this issue. I can tell by how you flew your glider toys that you have to give this an A.
I gave it a B plus. I gave it a B plus.
Oh, come on, just because I said that. Okay, we have a B plus out of the reviewer. Mark, what do you got?
A-.
Yeah. Peter.
A-. Yep.
Mike.
I'm gonna give it a B plus. I mean,
Sarah.
it's close to an A-. Very.
Yeah.
A- as well.
I'll give it a flat out A. I liked it a lot. JR. Give me some pros. What'd you love about this?
Well, it's just we're in it's a story where we don't have all the answers yet as to who all the players are and what they're doing and everything like that. But it's not a stupid mystery box story. It's a nice, tight little, what's going on? Who's this? Who's that? Or whatever. But we don't feel like we're being jerked around. We feel like we're going to find out, So, and plus, I mean, come on, a goblin makes a story. Yeah. The hobgoblins has always been a good villain, and it's always good to see him, particularly when he's rendered. As well as he's
pulled off
been
the mask and yep, it's who you thought it was. It's Kingsley.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
So it's and I hope that they're done with the hobgoblin fake outs, really. I mean, other than what's going on with this story, but the somebody else being the hobgoblin is that trope's getting old too. But anyway, so I mean, you just had solid superhero, supervillain action, a little more movement on the, you see the gold goblin suit that Norman is going to eventually start wearing, so you've got some foreshadowing there. It was a fairly enjoyable issue.
All right. Other pros. Sarah, what do you got? What'd you like about it?
I really loved the scene where Spider-Man shows up on the glider and Hobgoblin is like, is this a joke? Like, are you serious? I laughed so hard at that moment. I really enjoyed that.
I did. Oh yeah, here I've got it. It's right here. Is this a joke? Clearly not. Thanks, Bug.
It's also ironic that Kinsley's saying that, considering how Kinsley's a guy who's basically made his whole career out of ripping off the Hobgoblin. Now he feels like, now Spider-Man's ripping off me, kind of thing. Right. So I just
check out this face plant he did right in his glider.
Oh yeah,
still learning how to fly this thing. Wow. Ouch.
Fatal fall ameliorated.
Yeah.
I actually like the twist in the end of this thing. I mean. Granted, it's pretty basic and everything. I mean, it's not very. But the way it came about was clever. I mean, the idea that Kinsley is using Ned Leeds as a patsy again, And in a way, if you think about it, it's kind of funny in context. It's just kind of one of these things when after I read this issue, I started thinking back to all the other Hobgoblin things. And I kind of realized, oh, wait, Kinsley's whole MO is all about, his whole thing was one big kind of thing. He loves using doubles. He loves using patsies. He himself is a double, if you think about it. He's a twin.
Yes.
And he used his own twin as a double. So this idea, I would really like, I think it would be cool if like in the next issue, he kind of thinks like, hey, ever since Daniel died, because like he felt like, oh, trying to get Ned is kind of like a surrogate or something like that. Like like basically the Hobgoblin felt like he always had to be like a two person act. Right. With Roderick and Daniel kind of working together. That's kind of how the original Hobgoblin mystery was initially enacted. But using this as a means of like, instead of having Kinsley be in Two Places Once, having the Hobgoblin be there. If you see what I'm getting at is this idea of trying to, I like the idea of like him. It's kind of calling back to those kind of that theme about, the Kinsley likes to use dupes and doubles and everything like this to kind of enact his plans and stuff. So I like, and so the way this twist was executed, I thought was very well done. So.
Yeah. Let's see, Peter, what's some pros out of you?
Our very own Bruce, the Spider Collector, got his letter published in the letter section.
He did.
That's a pro.
I thought that was nice. We have a lot of Crawlspacers in the letters pages. It's awesome.
That's right. And
here it is right here. Bruce, who does our Spidey stash, and had it right back here. So that's really cool. Congrats to Bruce. And
see, Mark, I'm not the only one.
I'm always excited when a fellow Crawlspacer makes it into the letters pages.
Oh, Mark, you killed me.
I was super excited when Javi made it a couple of issues ago.
Oh boy. Okay, back to the issue.
Yeah, what'd you like?
I really like that this was kind of like a breather from the mystery box. It's still very much a part of this run, but it's a breather away. And seeing two Hobgoblins, of course, is always good. I don't like the fact that like Peter thinks that that's more of a con. So we'll get into more of that later.
Have we hit everybody? JR, did I hit you up?
Sarah, you haven't hit.
Sarah, did I get your pros?
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about is that a joke thing?
Mark was the one.
Mark, you're up next. Sorry, I get lose track sometime. I'm getting old.
Well, I obviously love the whole Hobgoblin stuff that everybody already mentioned, but I also am liking this this Norman trying to be the sinless, good guy, trying to stay cleansed. Because we keep seeing little clips every now and then of him being like mean or angry. He's still Norman. It's still trying to come out. But this scene you have right here, he's not supposed to be monitoring Peter while he's in Spider-Man costume, which is why he couldn't help Peter against the Vulture. But here he is. He's got the suit, monitored. So. I'm trying to keep
is he faking? Is he faking being nice?
Well,
or do you think
I don't think so, but there's a part of me that thinks that he is faking it because he was doing that back when our Nick Spencer arc was coming to a close. He kept acting one way to fool one group and acting another way to fool another group. And so I'm wondering if he's still doing that, or if maybe there's another personality, if he's going Moon Knight on this here, he's got another personality, the Green Goblin personality is coming out.
That's good.
And so
what personality would that be? That would be totally, there's evil and not so evil. What is there? What would another personality be?
Storm and Norman, I guess. I don't know.
JR, what would the next
version of Norman?
What would the JR version? What you think? Do you think he's faking it, JR? Do you think he's
Well, I was evil? Well, boy, I hope so. But The thing with the monitoring, though, I kind of wondered about that because he's not supposed to monitor Peter, but he does follow what's happening with the costume, because isn't like in the new slot story that he started out, like where Moreland's beating the crap out of Peter and the suit is being compromised, and Norman keeps asking Peter what's going on. So yeah, I don't know if like, is he monitoring Peter or is he just tracking the condition of the suit or what? So I kind of confused what's going on there.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, Mark. Any other pros?
No, I'm liking how some of these mysteries are playing out. The whole mystery box is so far away from us that it's not enjoyable trying to figure out what happened 6 months ago. But all these little things with Norman and hobgoblins, they're coming at us fast, and we have like a couple of weeks to think about it, and then they give us a bit bigger piece of the pie, or even go ahead and wrap it up and move on to the next story. And I like the quick pacing like that.
Yeah. All right. I like your theory about Moon Knight. He's getting a third personality. That's pretty good. I like that. Oh, nice Moon Knight.
Just to
go
kind
ahead,
of,
Mike.
I was just going to say, I was thinking about it because I was going to use this as a nitpick, because if we think back to how Norman got cleansed and the whole thing, not only if there's a sense removed, his powers are also gone.
Yeah,
Because remember that whole thing with the
gone, are they?
Because that's what I'm taking at. Because with the whole thing with the Sin Eater, with that whole magic shotgun thing that he has, it not only took away their sins, it took away their powers.
So is that why he's so beat up?
But no, what I'm getting at is, if Norman here, it seems like he still has kind of goblin-esque kind of abilities here.
Yeah.
So if they're kind of coming back, and now he's also doing like stuff with the suit thing, right? Again, maybe there is something to that Dark Mark's theory about he's developing a third personality, maybe to compensate for the fact that the Green Goblin is gone. And this is like, oh, it's starting to make some form of a new form of it is starting to resurface again.
Right.
You see, because even with the sins are gone, it's like the person who Norman is hasn't really gone away. In a sense, I'm wondering if that's what they're kind of what this is kind of getting at.
You can't kill evil like Michael Myers.
Yes, exactly. You can't
Like-
just. Yeah, it's like it's not something you can just like magically just turn off. It's something that's ingrained within him, and it's starting to just kind of starting to bubble back up to the surface again. Because remember,
Maybe he'll drink another potion, right, JR?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that's how he got his powers in the first place.
Right. And remember, he even said, like, if one of the reasons, like, he just claimed, like, he didn't want to help Peter earlier, he says, because if I put that anything goblin thing back on again, I'm going to be lost. But what's he doing? He's redesigning a goblin, kind of goblin-esque costume again.
Yeah.
So it's starting to kind of leak back to the surface again. But he's trying to do, like, play both sides. Maybe I can try to be, like, make amends. But it's still, that piece of him is still kind of ingrained. It's starting to come out, I think.
And judging by the artwork on that first issue that we reviewed, I mean, you really saw him. Like, he looks.
Oh,
evil.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that whole thing with that grinning face, like,
You couldn't have set that up better, Peter. I had it ready to go at the end of the show. I'm just like, just logic to me. I'll hit it. All right.
But yeah, I think, Mark, you're kind of onto something. Maybe this is something coming out of him now. This is a third, a different kind of goblin. Basically, his old self is starting to reemerge, and he's
And even if it's not the way it's being written, we're talking about it, and that's what makes this enjoyable.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That artwork. I mean, come on.
Look at
That
this.
looks almost like the clown from It.
I know.
I mean, come on.
God dang.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, on that note, let's do some final thoughts. Let's see. Let's start with Peter.
Mike, don't amp up Mark's ego too much. He can't.
Okay. Well, hey, I was back in your quarter once with the
Okay, so you're balancing out. All right.
Mark at some point, so.
I took my kids trick or treating in the south, like in the suburban area.
Okay.
And I was dressed up as Spider-Man, and I did see another adult dressed up in Spider-Man Infinity War from the MCU.
Yep. That seems to be a
And
popular one.
you guys you guys would be very happy to hear that. I was being cool. I'm like, hey, Spidey. And then they looked at me and go, oh, it's the real Spider-Man.
All
and the other guy turned around and went, hey, what am I, chopped liver? And these bunch of teenagers go, yeah, you're kind of more like Iron Man Jr. I was ready to do a flip. I was so happy.
That's awesome.
So there is hope. There is hope for Spider-Man fans out there.
The hope.
Chi-Town, Peter, let me ask you a question. Did they do the finger point?
Oh, of course he did.
Okay.
Bop, bop. Mark, final thoughts, sir.
Well,
where's that mute button?
Jeez.
I have nothing. I have nothing. There's Rob. Here, my final thought is I have been wishing that we would have an Oscorn commercial again. It's been so long.
Oh yeah, JR.
Not tonight.
It's like Mark was setting you up, and you're just like,
he's got to go to bed in 5 minutes. You know, you got to
no,
go back.
I would have to. No, it's
been
I'd
a
have
minute.
to think of something. I'm not that quick on my feet.
Yeah. All right, JR, final thoughts before you pass out and go play with your toys.
Oh, this is I think this is. I really wish we still didn't have the whole stupid mystery box hanging over us, because I actually kind of like these couple issues and
I do too.
and where some things seem to be going.
Yep.
But I don't know. I guess the fear that it's going to go into the crapper is always around the corner. But actually, like you always asked me during Spire History, was this a good month? This was, other than the first story, this was a fairly good month. Yeah,
I think so too. Mike, final thoughts.
I think it with the as long as Wells kind of sticks to basically not going into mystery box territory and starts writing more about villains, it's okay. I mean, that seems to be a pattern type of thing. I mean, it seems like that's kind of like maybe his seems like his wheelhouse thing. Like when he ever to go into, if he keeps it, if he keeps it more like about centered on that kind of stuff until like, oh, what happened 6 months ago? Was this all that stuff? It seems to be fine. It just, but yeah, that's what's the main thing, just kind of weighing everything down at this point. Although, and even though we kind of slightly got a hint of what's going on in that whole Judgment Day tie-in thing, it's still, not enough kind of thing. And yeah, but it's hopefully, but then your thing, and also I do have to find one other thing. I do find it funny that the debt collector is now basically built up as a big mystery now. It's like, oh, we were supposed to care about this guy? Okay. I guess we are now.
You know how you defeat the debt collector? You pay him. That's how you. I mean, that's his kryptonite. It's cash.
Apparently that didn't work.
We know that the debt collector was paid off by Paul, and we were like,
and that did not work.
Maybe Paul's in on the whole dark web thing.
Ooh, he is. He's the third hobgoblin.
He's the third. You know how happy Chi-Town would be if Paul is evil?
I guarantee you, Dark Mark's grades are going to go down when I'm happy.
All right, we have a final thought out of Sarah. Go ahead.
Although I'm not happy with how the 6 month thing has been handled, I really do like the direction that Zeb Wells is going, and I'm excited to see what happens with the Hobgoblin and whatever villains he decides to pull out of the hat.
Also, I want to congratulate Sarah. She has been officially, if you go to the staff page, we just put a bio up here for her. She's an admin, so there she is in her Spider-Punk costume. So thank you. And welcome to the team. Isn't that nice? And
that is really cool.
Thank you.
Here is the admin page. You got a new picture of Chi-Town and his wife right here.
Yeah, I do.
Look at that. So that's all of our admins. And look at JR. He would not give me a picture, so we had to screen cap an image from the podcast, and I put a little Alex Ross face over him for his picture.
Well done.
So there we go.
There you go.
Also, if you want to...
Are you choking Spider-Man there? Do you have him in a chokehold? Is that...
Well, he's my buddy. What's up, dude?
Is that Brad or is that Winston?
That's
Winston. I changed that name there.
You jerk, you potato head. All right. If you want to stick around, we've got another show coming up. Sarah and Mike and I and Kelly and Neil and Tyler will be on Patreon exclusively, reviewing all the books JR refuses to buy. We've got some Iron Cat. We're going to talk about Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Man #1 by Slot, JR's favorite. Edge of Spider-Verse. We've got Fortnite. Kelly is anxious to talk about that one. Venom fights Thor for 2 issues. We got some Carnage, some Savage Avengers with Flash Thompson as Anti-Venom. No, wait a minute. Is that his name? The White Venom. Is it? That's Anti-Venom?
Anti-Venom. Yes,
Anti-Venom, yeah. Then we get regular Venom and then some Transformer Mech Strike stuff. And Kraven the Hunter takes on Wolverine and Omega Red in X-Force. He's in the Savage Land taking on the X-Men. So we will review all those. JR, what book are you tackling on that show?
Well, I don't know. Give me the Spider-Man who's handicapped, and the story, centers around space buildings not having not following the American with Disabilities Act, even though.
What are you talking about?
Oh, come on. The Spider-Verse, see with the one with the Spider Pig there,
Oh, I haven't read that one yet.
Yeah,
okay.
One of the little stories is about a handicapped female Spider-Man. And of course, none of the buildings she goes into are handicapped accessible, which would be a clear violation of the American with Disabilities Act.
Well, that's on his cons. You're hearing it free right now.
Yeah,
JR is reviewing the books
okay,
early.
It's like, okay, are we like just making this up because, we want to make a point, whether or not it has anything to do with reality whatsoever? And don't get me started on the other Spider-Verse story with the Spider-Man fashion designer. You'd probably ban me for that one.
Oh, yeah.
Says the man that makes things up.
Hornacek says, bring back the debt collector. Congrats, Sarah, on being an admin. Congrats, Heidi says. Let's see. Winston Zedmore is his middle name. Winston Zedmore Leeds. That's a Ghostbuster reference. Nice. Legends broke. You got no Patreon money. All right. Slot screwing Miles. Not that I know of. He's not writing Miles. Dude, imagine that comic called The Evil Spider-Man #1, says Plushie. All right. It has been a pleasure. We will see you all on Patreon in just a few moments.